Hello everyone! I've been putting together this video because I need to gush about my favorite way to play a Fire Emblem game, Ironmanning. I stream on my channel every week and almost always have an Ironman challenge of some sort going on. I can't get enough of it, which is why I want to share why I enjoy it so much, why you should give it a try yourself, and how to set you up for a successful run. I know a lot of people are familiar with the idea of a Fire Emblem Ironman, but I want to go into details about the rules they traditionally follow and different variations you might see or try. In its purest form, an Ironman challenge involves beating the whole game without restarting a chapter. This means if you miss out on any treasure, fail a guidance requirement, or let a unit die, it's permanent. You cannot go back and try again. When you game over, you reset the run from chapter 1 and start over. Following this core rule, you can choose a number of details to customize about your rule set and run. Think of it like nuzlocking a Pokemon game, where there's a basic core principle, but then everyone likes to put their own spin on it or house rules in place. This brings us to tools such as turn wheels and revival methods. My personal rules prohibit turn wheels, but allows for revival items like Alm, Bifrost, and revival shrines. If you think a turn wheel is legal in your run because it's limited and not resetting the game, go for it. It's just not something I prefer to use. There's also no rule in place for what difficulty you can play on either. I tend to pick some of the higher up difficulties like FE6 hard mode or the higher difficulties in FE11, but even I don't think I have the grit for something like a modern lunatic or maddening. Nothing is stopping you from Ironmanning on casual mode either. There's still the stress of reaching side objectives and avoiding game overs unrelated to unit deaths. One last thing I've seen others talk about is the Tin Man rules. Instead of restarting the whole game on a game over, you restart the chapter, but leave units who died before the restart dead or undeployed. I'm not as much a fan of this rule set since it feels like it goes against a bit of the spirit for why I like these runs. Plus, the stress and pressure of a game over heightens the experience for me. Once you have a rule set chosen, you have to choose a game, but not all games are as Ironmanable as others. Any game in the series can be played without resetting, but I think there are a few games that lend themselves to this playstyle more than others. A few traits an Ironman friendly game can have are a large cast of units, good pre-promoted mid-game units, and not having a major focus on super investing into a small team of all-stars. A large cast of units gives you lots of picks for who to use if someone dies, and you need those replacement units to be functional right out of the box to help fill in those roles. This kinda goes alongside the game not requiring a super high bar of investment for your units. If someone you've poured several seals, boosters, and levels into dies, it can be a major setback if you can't easily deploy someone else in their place. Another trait that goes a long way is your familiarity with the game. Having knowledge on reinforcements or what challenges are on the horizon will give you a huge advantage over semi-blindly stumbling into the next chapter. Games like the Arcanea games and FE6 are excellent for Ironmans. Shadow Dragon NES and Mystery have lower stat benchmarks you need to reach, meaning it's easier to fill in the gaps with your army from deaths, and the games are less mechanically intense. Less calcs means there's less of a chance you forgot to carry a 1 somewhere. Shadow Dragon DS has higher numbers on enemies, but you have more tools with forging and reclassing. Forging means even a scrub off the bench can use a 12-might Rider's Bane to snag kills a decent way into the game, and reclassing means you can let almost anyone take almost any role. The generics also give you effectively a limitless amount of units to use, meaning you'll always have new bodies to throw at your problems. I haven't played enough of New Mystery to speak on it, but its enormous cast would lead me to believe that it's a pretty good pick if you enjoy the game. Binding Blade follows in Arcanea's footsteps with a large cast and decent but not overtuned pre-promotes to fit into your army should you need one. The true ending requirement can be stressful to keep up with, but I find it to be a very fun, full game long side objective to keep up with. I can understand only really seeing the true ending as a proper ending, but getting the neutral ending in my first run gave me an unstoppable drive to go for true ending. Having to work so hard for it made achieving the Idun kill all the more cathartic. Thracia has a lot of good pieces of an Ironman game, such as a large cast and lower stats overall, but you'll want a lot of experience and knowledge with the game, and be okay with getting RNG'd out of some rewards and units from time to time. On the other end of the spectrum, I think games like Three Houses, Radiant Dawn, and Blazing Blade are not very good games for Ironmans. Three Houses is too focused on heavy investment into a small core team of units, making it hard to replace a unit who dies. Radiant Dawn has multiple deployed units that are considered game overs in some early chapters, and in Part 3 with Renoff being treated almost like a lord for a couple of maps. The real breaking point is several moments where a game over can feel or be completely out of your control. Jill in 1.5 and Fiona in 1.6.2 can face a chance of death before you can reach them. 1.9 is a 2-unit fog duo where one wrong move means Micaiah is very likely to get one-rounded. Braum and Nephany in 2.1 have to connect a lot of shaky hit rates to succeed, and the 2.3 boss has a Wudao without any reasonable means to mitigate the crit rate. Not everything needs to be 100% reliable in an Ironman, but when your entire run is on the line, you don't want to leave it up to RNGesus. Blazing Blade has a lot of good traits for Ironmanning, such as strong pre-promotes in the mid to late game, but low deployment slots in Hector Hard mode means you have fewer options for backups in case of a miss, and less bodies on the field should you face a mid-chapter disaster. The worst part is Living Legend and Battle Before Dawn. Like Radiant Dawn, both of these maps include game over conditions completely out of your hands for a few turns. There is a chance your run dies, but there is very little or nothing you could have done about it. Having multiple lords deployed on a few maps also faces you with the FE10 problem of keeping several game over conditions alive. Again, these games can be played as Iron Man. I know people who have done runs of all three of these and have had tons of fun. Don't let me or a list of Ironmanable games determine which entry you want to attempt. After I've chosen the game that I want to run, I can't put it down. Removing the ability to reset adds so many layers of tension and risk to whatever play you make. You can no longer go for that turn 1 66% because you can't reload and retry if you miss. The more I play these, the more I've grown to value hit boost and crit avoid boost. An untimely miss or an unfortunate crit can spell disaster and lead to frantically piecing together a way to keep your units alive or mitigate the number of units about to die. And I live for it. Being backed into a corner knowing the solution is going to be incredibly messy and most likely result in a unit death is thrilling. It makes me feel like the strategist in the front lines of a war. The stakes get higher as you adventure further into your campaign and get more emotionally invested in your units. All it takes is one unlikely hero to become your main carry in a dire situation to solidify them as a new favorite. If you had asked me what my opinion on FE8 Kyle was before my draft Iron Man, I would have told you he's the most okay but whatever cav you can use alongside Seth. After carrying that run on his blessed stats, he became one of my favorite units to hype up in future runs. Which is why it was heartbreaking having to watch him die. Oh god. Kyle! Not Kyle! Anyone else but my man, he's carried so hard. What most people will see here is a character in a video game reaching 0 hit points and being unable to be deployed for the last 2 chapters. I see a pitch-black battlefield with threats leaping from the darkness, striking at unsuspecting soldiers. During this bloody battle in the dark, Sir Kyle breaks through several enemy soldiers before dying for his prince on the front lines, unable to see the future he's brought us so close to. I recently had a similar story with Alan in FE6. In Roy's desperation to rescue Cecilia as quickly as possible, he splits his army to cross both bridges, leaving Alan in charge of the North faction. With the army split and their strength divided, the northern team cannot hold back the reinforcements pincering them from the west. Sir Alan fights back against the unrelenting waves of cavaliers until reaching an unfortunate demise, unable to reunite with his lord on the other side. Into the violence! No! Oh, this is about to get gross. When you allow a character to die, you build a narrative. This playthrough of Fire Emblem is yours. It's your story, and there will never be another one like it. The grand overarching story of needing to stop Medius, Zephiel, Leon, or Ashnard is the main plot, but the narrative about the individual units you create for yourself is my favorite part. Roche is kind of a nothing throwaway cav to use in place of Cain, Abel, or Hardin if they die. To me, he was Roche, the lone wolf guard, on a revenge quest to end the war for his fallen comrades and commander, avenging their deaths from the Aurelia slaughter. I wouldn't have these stories if I had reset for their deaths. Some of these units don't have much personality outside of a few character quirks and maybe a single line of dialogue, but if you allow yourself to get invested in their victories and tragedies, it'll be an unforgettable experience. I touched on at the end of the last paragraph that the personal narrative of your run is a wonderful reason to try out an Ironman, but there's a number of reasons why you should take the plunge. It can be a fun way to shake up an old favorite, testing your knowledge and skill of the game. Units dying will also give you a chance to try out new units and maybe discover a new favorite. My streams have led me to appreciate silly off-meta picks like FE6 Lot and Noah, or secretly pretty useful units like Ray or Hugh. Playing with the stakes of permanent unit death also helps build good habits for running calcs and double-checking numbers instead of trusting, he'll probably live, or I'm sure she'll dodge. If I may offer some advice for a first-time or less experienced runner, I would highly advise starting with a game you're pretty familiar with, and don't be ashamed to use good units or play on a lower difficulty. I've used Percival and Sheeta for my Ironmans for both the channel and my own personal runs. Sites like WOD or the Fire Emblem Wiki are useful for looking up reinforcements, especially in games with ambush spawns. It feels really bad to lose a unit to a cheap gotcha, so I'd recommend using these if you're not familiar with the reinforcements. My last bit of advice is to keep going. It's going to be extremely disheartening to lose an important carry like a trained Garrick, Oscar, or Sheeta, but pushing forwards to the end of the run, regardless, will feel overwhelmingly rewarding. I love Ironmanning Fire Emblem games, and I don't think I'll be stopping anytime soon. One restriction of no resets is all it takes to put me on the edge of my seat during stressful and frantic chapters, and I really hope you enjoy it as much as I do. If you don't end up liking it, that's totally fair. It's definitely not for everyone. The happy ending of everyone surviving is totally valid, and the overbearing stress of your actions being permanent can be a little tense for someone who just wants to kick back and enjoy a game. There's plenty of other ways to try these games, such as 0% growth, solo runs, reverse recruitments, but I think Ironmans will be my favorite way to continue challenging myself. Thank you everyone for watching. I've been needing an outlet to voice my adoration for this playstyle, and it means a lot for you to stick around until the end. Don't forget the likes and subscribes, always appreciate those, they help out a lot, and share your thoughts on Ironmans or memorable Ironman moments in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you around. See ya!